Hi guys, today I'm making a zucchini slice and I just thought I'd jump on and show you the processes that I do that with. So it's a recipe that I've done a lot in my time, so there's a lot of memory that's involved in this recipe. So I'm just going to go through what I do. So I'm going to go and use my food processor attachment in my Thermocook. So it has an automatic program called food processor. Okay, so what I'm going to do in that is before I do that, I'm going to weigh my zucchini. So I need approximately about 350 grams. So I'm just going to get the scales up and pop my zucchini on the machine. 230, 225, 296. Yep, perfect. All right, so that's a whole big zucchini that I got from a client who grows a lot of her own veggies, and so I'm very, very lucky to have been gifted those. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out into the food processor. So it comes with a basic grating attachment. It allows you to grate some veggies and do some of this stuff, which is just fantastic because when you're cooking, you want to be able to have those attachments. Alright, so that's going to open my lid and we're going to have some grated zucchini. Then we're going to pop our zucchini into a bowl. And we're going to confirm that. Open our food processor lid. We're going to pop our plate off. A chunk of zucchini in there, that's okay. And we're going to pop our zucchini in. Now as I'm dragging my zucchini out of the bowl, that's what it looks like, nice and grated. I like the grated consistency of zucchini. I'm going to hold it with two hands and give it a bit of a squeeze over the sink. Okay, and that gets set aside with some cheese. So I just use like a sprinkle of cheese. I don't actually measure all the cheese that I need in there. It can get very precise some occasions. I don't think we need to be precise. Alright, pop that back in there, pop the bowl back in there, and we're going to pop our blades in the machine. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is go out of the food processor and go into manual cooking. Alright, so then we're going to chop our onion. So I just have a brown onion here that I'm chopping, and I've just cut it into quarters and popping that in the bowl. And I'm also roughly chopping some rindless bacon. I've done 3 rinds of the bacon and pop that in there. I've cut the rinds off those, and we're going to chop our onion and our bacon on speed 7. We're going to have a look at that consistency. That looks good enough. So that's going to cook down. So we want to cook that for a little while just to soften the edges a little bit, and then we're going to crack our eggs while that's cooking. So I'm going to add some olive oil to that. So I'm just going to do a fair bit of olive oil in there. Olive oil comes out, you want it to kind of cover the bacon and the onion. And in this step you can add a bit of garlic as well. I don't feel the garlic is necessary in this dish. You can add a bit of garlic powder. I love garlic, but I just think it can overpower the taste of the bacon and the zucchini. Alright, so now we're going to go turn our speed right down, and we're going to go temperature 110, and we're going to do speed 1, but we're going to go reverse. We're going to start. So I'm just going to crack my eggs. So we need 5 eggs. Alright, so that's our 5 eggs. So now my zucchini slice is progressing. I have done my onions and my bacon. So they have cooked up till they're translucent in the oil. So now we're going to add all of the rest of our ingredients. And so we're just going to turn that temperature down so that when we come back we can actually move everything right. Alright, so we're going to do 100 grams of plain flour. So I've just got the free from gluten flour from Woolies. It is a really good flour. Alright, so about 100 grams of that. Okay, that'll do. And I'm just going to pop a little sprinkle of baking powder in here. Just a little bit. You don't want to overdo the baking powder. Alright, then I'm going to pop my 5 eggs in there. I'm going to pop some salt in. Salt to taste. You like the flavour. And some pepper. I do like pepper in my zucchini slice. And we're just going to sprinkle that in. And then we're going to add that grated zucchini in with the mix. And that's going to go in to the eggs and all the onions and everything. And then I've got some tasty cheese. Yes, I know, very lazy of me not to grate a block. Terrible. But you know, sometimes shit happens. Alright, so it's going to be 100 grams. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit more on top as it's cooking. Alright, now we're going to add in some more olive oil. So olive oil will just give it that consistency it needs. I'll put about 40 grams of olive oil in there. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to mix that up. So just very quickly, we're not going to muck around with the mixing. Go back and we're going to go speed 4. Four. And we're going to turn that temperature down. Yep, we're going to start. Yep. Then we have this blend of zucchini goodness that's going to go in our prepared tray that is going to bake in the oven for lunch. And I did promise that I would sprinkle some cheese in there, and I'm not going to break that promise. So it just gives it a little bit of a crust on top. Not overdoing it. It's just a little bit to give us some flavour. So our zucchini slice is finished. So I'm just going to pop it out of the oven. But it is looking absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to serve that up for lunch. I'll go from there and just check it. Yep, that's good. Alright, so zucchini slice all done. Yeah, so if you want to make this, it's really super quick. If you don't have a machine like I do, it's okay. You can use it with a grater and things like that, but it just makes it so much easier having a machine to do all the hard work for me. Okay, thanks guys.